Kia ora, Gemini. This is your reading for this full moon in your sign, which happens today. So we're getting a story coming through. In the collective reading, there was a sort of visual of a plane. We're buckled up. We want to release the buckle, but we know if we do, we'll get sucked out into the atmosphere of confusion and cloud. Gemini. Remember, these readings are very general. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. And thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Let's see what's happening today. We've got the 10 of, well, I'm just going to read them out first here. We've got some nice cards. You know, it may feel like it's taken a while to bring something into, I say fruition, but it's more like just form. Like something that actually works for you, Gemini. There's lots of distractions. There's been lots of stops and starts and sort of turnarounds, I think. That could have been going on for quite a long time, actually. But things are starting to make a bit more sense. Just have to keep at it, Gemini, you know. We come out with the beautiful 10 of Cups. This is, of course, all the 10s are sort of nearing that the end of a cycle in some ways, is not to suggest that the bounty of all your relationships and connections with people isn't in full flow at the moment. You don't have to be in the same place. It's nice to be, but you don't have to be in order to feel, as this card in the Thoth deck says, satiety. There's a satisfaction that you feel within your relationships to others. You feel like you are, you know, you are yourself. You are honestly you, which is sometimes the hardest thing to be. We get distracted, Geminis. We then have, we go through and clarify with other cards. If you haven't watched before, we then have the 4 of Discs. This is security and solidity. It's one of the most secure cards, actually. Obviously, it's the Disc. And the structure here is very, I guess, Saturnian, maybe, if I can bandy that word around. We have one way in here and one way out. It's a strong structure. This is Malkut, this little bridge, this pathway, opening, whatever way you want to look at it. It's through the tangible world, the physical world. And of course, with the 4 of Discs, are we, what's the word? Are we restricting ourselves? Can we afford to let something go? Do we need to? Maybe we don't. Let something go. Loosen the reins a wee bit. Because we need flow. We need freedom of sorts. We need movement, Gemini. Mutability. We need movement. And yet we can get, like in that plane analogy, you know, undo the seatbelt. Yeah, we get sucked out. Wow, that's movement, all right. But it's like to the extreme, not necessarily great. We then have the Fool, speaking of movement and being unencumbered. So we see here, we understand what makes us happy. We know what gives us a level of security. But we're not going to be encumbered or restricted or feel, we're really operating from a very, very much individual selves here. The Fool isn't encumbered by anything or restricted by obligations or anything. It's like there's a truth to oneself in these cards, I do see, and within that a truth in terms of our interactions with others as well. It's a funny thing that, I don't know why I don't know what this is about, but, when there's a limitation, when we have a self-limitation, we all have self-limitations. Maybe we see them as hurdles to overcome, or maybe just lessons, But often when we are fixated on understanding what some of these limitations can be at any given time, we kind of underestimate and often don't think about the aspect that of the impact on others of our own limitations. Now that we don't often, do we, think about that, how that impacts other people around us, whether we know those people, whether we're just in a professional relationship, connection, or a personal one. We don't often think about that so much, do we? And yet our self-limitations have huge impact, not only on our own, world, but on other people in it. We then have the Princess of Discs. There is something being formed. In fact, it's growing right now. There's just time. We just have to be patient. But something new is coming through, Gemini. Let's clarify these cards with the Morgan Greer deck. Let's clarify them. We're looking at the Ten of Cups, sort of fulfillment, emotional fulfillment. With that, we get a level of healing. Maybe we're not feeling that so much yet, but maybe this healing, this surrendering is actually part of allowing this new thing to be birthed, because it's coming through. Whether you're that aware of it, I don't know, but it's coming through. Surrender and healing. Sometimes you do. You just throw your hands up and go, okay, all right. I'm leaving myself open here to some guidance. Now, the five of Swords, this came up in the collective reading as well. So leaving myself open to guidance, or leaving ourselves open to some guidance, is self-sabotorial. The Five of Swords is sometimes, taking credit for someone else's efforts, or just being sneaky. I mean, Mars is retrograde Gemini, isn't it? It's about, there can be, as a Gemini with Mars in Gemini, there can be deceptive. I mean, it's not like big dirty lies, but there can be a kind of, I hate to say it, but a kind of closeted joy in stories. And stories that are maybe a little bit more exaggerated than what the reality was. Or, do you know what I mean? Yeah. Anyway, this is a story. So let's just see. This thing of the Five of Swords coming up here after the Star, which is a beautiful healing card, no two ways about it, is that we may just well be understanding what this Five of Swords, how we have played that out sometimes in our lives. Maybe we're understanding that we don't want to do it anymore. That's a big shift. Four of Discs, solid. But do we need to give anything up here? Well, I don't know. I don't actually think so. news coming through, messages coming through. Four of Discs. Do we need to give something up here? We get the Four of Wands. This is a homecoming, happy home. This is again another four, solid security, where we stand, our place to stand. It might be not in a physical place. It might be this internal home that we, that we exist in, this body. Four of Wands. Messages coming through. We're not giving anything up. I don't think we need to. I think we've gone through that. I mean, we've gone through it mentally. We've gone through all the machinations of anything that could possibly indicate that we're limiting ourselves. Sometimes when we're going through a big change, I think this is a big shift, Gemini, in terms of the way that you do, what you're willing to accept, what you're not willing to accept, and that stands for yourself as much as other people. We get to this Four of Discs, we get the Four of Wands, happy home. We want to feather our nest. We want to foster that internal care, because it is a metaphor for the soul, for the self, isn't it? That home. We get messages coming in here. We've got communication coming through pretty quickly in regards to, not in a basic way, like not in terms of home or whatever. It's messages coming through that confirm the work that we have done up to this point. And I mean the internal work. If you're one of those Geminis, you know what I'm talking about. The internal work. We start to see something coming through. We start to see some, instead of red flags, we get good flags. What's the alternative to a red flag? It's a green flag, I suppose. Go. Good. Then we have the Two of Cups coming out. We're looking at reciprocity. I think for some Geminis here, it's been a long time coming, but we understand reciprocal nature of relationships, and that we're prepared to give what we give, but we want to see that level of reciprocal giving and receiving in terms of our relationships. People can only be or offer, or just offer yourself freely and honestly as possible. That's all we can ever ask for, and it's all we can ever ask for within ourselves. But I do see a Gemini here that's done quite a bit of internal work, maybe. Then we come to this beautiful Princess of Discs. Princess of Discs, please, to clarify this. The truth and the proof is in the pudding when it comes out of the oven, which is just about to happen, Gemini. I mean, it's just about to happen. Wow. And we've got 3 cards from Brian Froud, Pixie and Fairy. Look, we're coming into more of a wholeness within ourselves. I think, Geminis, it's been about synthesizing, yes, the Lovers, it's your card, integrating aspects of ourselves. The more we do that, the more whole, ideally, we become, the more we can action things in our world that are positive, that are good, that take us on really satisfying journeys emotionally and within a sort of, like, it could be work or projects, you know. Look, we've got the bright mother holding that moon, your moon, Gemini. She's a well versed in life, reflective. I mean, literally reflective. But look at what's surrounding her, like all these wonderful friends and experiences and supports. We then have a collective of pixies, which is a celebration. I think you're having possibly your own internal celebration, in that you may well find yourself, you've been doing things in a different way, and you're just about to see the benefits in your world of that, of not being on automatic. I think it's amazing, Gemini. Switch into out of automatic and into this sort of new way of doing things. Can we get a rock mineral crystal for Gemini, please? Oh, they flew out. We've got 2 cards here, Geminis. We have turquoise, love, and angelite. So we've got turquoise, leadership qualities, clear communication, prosperity, and success is coming in. And angelite or angelite, angel communication, clairvoyance, alignment, and dream insights. Do remember your dreams at this time, if you can. Get your little book beside the bed. Just whatever you remember, write it down in the morning when you wake up. It can be interesting, insightful in terms of symbology. On that note, Gemini, thanks for joining me, and take good care. Please do like it. It allows the videos to be seen by more people. And yeah, take good care. Ka kite, bye.